Beer bat chug alert. That's a shutout against the Rangers. Justin Steele freezes the Texas Rangers. Coming up next on the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota and Bet365. We are ready to vibe with you. Are you ready to vibe? Who's ready to vibe? Unanswered, 7 runs. That's the way to start your work week. Vibe with us next. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? This is the CHGO Cubs podcast driven by Toyota. Let's go places and Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Use the code CHGO365 at sign up. Cubs back in the win column. A great start by Justin Steele. A shutout over the Rangers, who came in 8-2. Luke Stuckmeyer, Cody Delmendo with you. Sarah's running the 1s and 2, and we are happy to see you on our new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel. If you're watching on the old CHGO Sports page, the show will still be there, but the chat's about to shut down, like in a couple minutes. So that's going to end. So jump on over to the new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel. If you haven't been there yet, subscribe, get involved in the chat. That's where we're going to be tonight, and that's going to be happening. We've got lots of fresh content for you there over the last almost 2 weeks now, right?
Yeah.
Almost 2 weeks.
We're close to 2,000 subs, so help us get there.
The chat is up and running. I see Gary has been saying, hey, new vibes on this new channel.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
You guys started a new channel, and the Cubs suddenly became good at baseball, which is crazy.
You know what? There were people that were starting to worry about Justin Steele.
Yeah.
Not tonight.
Not tonight.
Not tonight. We previewed this series with one of our mini pods on the channel, and I said, I think he's going to be good. Mm-hmm. He knows how to pitch in cold weather. Those guys from Texas, they play indoors or in warm weather when they're at home, and they looked very uncomfortable at the plate. And their offense has been inconsistent so far this season, but so has Steele, right?
Yeah.
Steele goes 7 shutout innings, 3 hits, 8 strikeouts, but keep in mind what he was coming onto this with. 5 runs, 3 runs, and 4 runs in his first 3 starts this season. So while they were not vintage Steele outings, they were starting to kind of get uncomfortable that it was 3 to start the season that weren't his best.
Yeah.
He wasn't awful, but they just weren't his best. Tonight, Steele was Steele.
Yeah, no, 3 hits. 8 strikeouts?
8 strikeouts.
2 walks, but 7 innings. And sure, I think you can make an argument that the weather benefited him. You can also make an argument how this weather cannot benefit some pitchers as well, especially ones who aren't used to it. And Nathan Eovaldi gave a good effort tonight, no doubt. But
he hit 2 guys, though. It's not easy.
That's true. He just wasn't as good as Justin Steele. And Justin Steele, I felt like he, after the first 2 innings, he was just rolling. You know, he had multiple innings where he had less than 10 pitches, and he looked a lot like his old self. The 8 strikeouts, big thing in this particular start. But obviously, like I've been saying, keeping the ball in the ballpark. And the thing was, though, is there might have been 1 or 2 balls that were hit. You know, I don't think they got to the warning track, but they were hit to outfielders. I don't know what they would have done on a normal day, but he got a lot of ground balls tonight, and that looked like the Justin Steele that we all have come to know and rave about, and get excited about and appreciate. So hopefully this has turned the corner, and you did it against a Rangers team that 8-2, like you said, coming in. In our preview mini pod, we talked with Jeff Wilson from DLLS, and he did say that Rangers pitching has been what's been the pro for them so far. The offense hasn't necessarily been there. So, I think the Cubs scoring 7 runs tonight on a night like this was very fun to watch as well. I was really expecting, if they were to win, maybe like a 3-0 game, 3-1, something like that. Instead, they get 7 runs, and they did everything that I said yesterday, doing all the right things on the margins, starting pitching, defense. Like that's how this team is going to win in 2025. That's just plain and simple. Those are the 3 big things. They're going to need to figure out the bullpen. They need to find some consistency there, but starting pitching, good defense, the good base running, those marginal things, getting some like doing all the right plays and stuff, say the stolen bases tonight,
the little things. And we're going to talk about the offense and the manufacturing of runs. And yes, we're going to talk about Vlad Guerrero's contract and what that means for Kyle Tucker potentially. Cody's also going to do a beer bat chug here because after a Cubs win, that's what he does, beer bat chug. And so that's still coming up. But this one night for me was about pitching. And it was also about bouncing back. Yep. When the Cubs blew that game last Sunday against the Diamondbacks, they bounced back the next day.
18-3 against the A's.
And that was the offensive response, right?
Yeah.
This was a game where they should have won Sunday and should have had a sweep against the Padres. It didn't happen. They come right back and they play in miserable conditions at Wrigley Field. Anybody that was out there, I guess hats off to you because you're tougher than I want to be. Yeah. Like that was cold. And they played through it, and they played as good a game as you can play in that weather. Steele, though, was great. The 7 shutout innings. And frankly, 3 of the last 4 games have been strictly about starting pitching for the Cubs. You have Shota going 7 1/3, you have Boyd going 6, and you have Steele going 7. That's 20 innings and 1 run allowed by those 3 guys. I want to see Tyone continue that. But that's the type of starting pitching that I want to see early in the season. When it's cold and you struggle to score, I want to see Steele just attack the zone. I don't want him trying to find the corners too much and trying to be too careful. Like, he can go after it because some of those guys weren't interested. I said, we were looking at the time of the game, and I was like, are we headed for another 3 hours? And I thought to myself, once they got to 7-0, that was it. The Rangers were packing it in. That game was over, and it was over quickly after that.
Yeah. The amount of guys on the Rangers who had their faces covered.
Yeah. Colin Ray had the easiest job tonight.
Yeah.
Come in with a 7-0 lead and know that these guys don't want to be there. They'd like to be back in the hotel.
Right. At Colin Ray, good to see him in there tonight. Yesterday, that was my big question. Is like, why did we not see Colin Ray in that game? And tonight's scenario made a lot of sense too. Now, if it was 3-0 after Steele, well, if they didn't score the 7 and it was 3-0, I don't necessarily know if Colin Ray would have came in. I would assumed he would, but who knows? All I know is that Colin Ray, it made a lot of sense that he needed to get into this game. And so 2 clean innings, and like, he's going to be used in this type of situation. I feel like he's going to be used in more of those mop-up duties in a game like what Ben Brown gave them yesterday. Mm-hmm. And I think he'll have spot starts too. So I'm expecting to see more of him as we move along. That's all I'll say. But 7-0, whatever. He came out, the important thing about Colin Ray tonight, he was good enough to where Craig didn't have to get anyone else up.
He saved the bullpen
after you used the bullpen a lot yesterday. These are very key things because you use the bullpen a lot one day. If your starter isn't good the next day and you use the guys that you use that day, then they're tired. Then it becomes a domino effect, right? We've talked about that for the last couple years. Colin Ray tonight, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but in a way he helped save this bullpen, and we'll ride the roller coaster with them all tomorrow.
We did the live watch along, so we watched the whole game on the YouTube channel as well tonight, and we were debating, who's going to be the closer if you need it? I said, well, wait, let's see if we need one. Sure enough, Steele goes 7, and Ray's able to clean it up and save the bullpen. You didn't have to find out that answer.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was a stress-free Monday. chalk up the win, move to 7-5, move along, and it was exactly what the doctor ordered for tonight's game. It's going to be just as cold tomorrow, and we'll preview that game, but it's going to be very cold again tomorrow night. Tyone on the mound, and I hope they could continue that as well. See a lot of the regulars in the live YouTube chat. Gary's there, Craig's there, Evil Wax is there.
The CHGO Sports chat is officially taken off, so if you do want to chat with us, you have to head over to the CHGO Cubs YouTube channel, and while you're there, you should subscribe to that channel.
Yeah, if you want to get in and chat, go ahead and subscribe, right?
Yeah. Craig says $5 million for a mop-up guy. I'm not, like, he's not just a mop-up guy. I just do think that he will be used in a lot of situations where the Cubs need someone to eat innings. But I also do think that he will be used as a spot starter as the season goes along, and those are important innings. So we can sit here and argue if Colin Ray is worth $5 million, but considering how much we complain about Tom not spending any money, I mean, who cares? It's $5 million. I don't know, whatever. But that's just kind of how I see Colin Ray's role. I don't see him ever pitching in high leverage spots. I see him pitching in, situations where you need someone to come in and eat innings for you. That's literally it, because that's basically all he did with Milwaukee.
The chat, some people were wondering if Godfather Michael Collada is going to make it over.
I thought he already subscribed to the channel.
I think he had some surgery recently. Austin, who I met at a broadcasting campus here,
he let us know in the watch.
He let us know about it. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks for the reminder. I appreciate it. Listen, it was everything about the game was good. They did all the little things that we'll talk about in the next segment. Offensively, it was good. It was fast for me. I like any game under 3 hours. No matter win or lose, I like a game under 3 hours.
Yeah,
I prefer the win and under 3 hours, but I'm willing to sacrifice it every once in a while.
Yeah.
Tonight I didn't have to.
I would say, as far as Steele, other things related to Steele, I think sometimes the vibe is what you need, a good vibe, right?
Yeah.
And
pregame vibe.
I said this in the watch along kind of jokingly, but like, let's just, you just won 7-0. So let's get Delulu for a second. Don't spray me with the reality spray, all right?
Hold on. I have the reality spray if you get out of control here, just in case.
I saw a TikTok video like a couple days ago from Steele's wife. And if you follow Justin Steele on social media, he's a huge card collector. Baseball, football cards.
Football fan and card collector away from baseball.
This TikTok video is of his wife recording him, and he's just looking at this rare Justin Herbert card. Justin Herbert, the quarterback for the Los Angeles Chargers. And I don't think I've ever seen the face that he had looking at that card on anything, ever in a game. So
he's calm, cool, and collected on the mound.
Yeah. He was high on life in that moment. And sometimes when you're high on life, you just change your entire being. Everything's clicking. You're going into your next start feeling great. So shout out to that rare Justin Herbert football card, because maybe that played a part in his success tonight.
You wonder what
feeling good, man.
You wonder what
you feel good, you play
going,
good. Yeah? You feel good, you play good, right? The video itself though was pretty funny. I know that feeling. You find something so valuable that you've been wanting or whatever. Yeah. But
it's like when I got those original Jordans that time. And
one time.
Everybody was like, wow. That was something. Orange Shoe says, don't understand why Ben Brown is in the rotation when we need to win now. Can't we just put Ray in? Switch roles for the two. Let's just pump the brakes. I appreciate it. I'm going to try and stay positive. This was a 7-0 win.
Yeah.
This was a 7-0 win against a team that was 8-2 and has been beating some really good teams and is almost certainly a playoff team this season. I don't see how injuries can derail any team, but on paper, that's a playoff team.
Yeah, the Rangers, 2 years ago, won the World Series. I know they had a hangover last year, but a lot of the same roster that won the World Series. They still have Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, Adolis Garcia. Got really good starting pitching with Nathan Eovaldi, and Jacob deGrom is back. Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker are kind of the rookies, the young pitchers in their rotation that has some high upside, right? They have a pretty solid squad, and I would say in that division, especially with how the Astros have looked early on. Like maybe the Mariners are the only team that's really truly competing with them. But yeah, no, off to a good start, and they come to Wrigley Field and they found out. They tucked around and found out.
Tuck had a couple hits. We'll talk about him in a second. By the way, as we head to our commercial break here and talk about our sponsors, let me know, what do you think? How many games are we going to play this series? We have one in the books. It's supposed to be cold tomorrow and rain on Wednesday. How many more games will they play in this series this week? But first, a word from our sponsors. Light beer just got better. Introducing Sam Adams American Light, the perfect beer for a beer bat chug, by the way. It's clean, it's crisp, it's super easy to drink. No gimmicks, no fluff. Sam Adams American Light is not your average light beer. It's brewed with 100% American-sourced ingredients from local independent farmers. Light beer that's made right. You don't want a beer that's heavy that makes you feel full and bloated after 3 sips. Light beer shouldn't feel like a compromise either. It's an American classic so smooth, you're going to want to crack open another one. It's always Sam season. Light beer just got better. Grab some Sam Adams American Light, available now at select Chicago retailers. Must be 21 and older. Please drink responsibly. Hey guys, Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. They have more than any auto brand out there right now. Our weather, whether it's wintertime or springtime, can be just flat brutal. It snowed today, but Toyota makes it easier. From the sleek Camry all-wheel drive to the Corolla Hybrid all-wheel drive, Toyota Tundra, the truck known for its power, durability, and off-road capabilities, perfect for our weather. Headed to the big game or maybe spring break, the spacious Grand Highlander is the perfect ride with all-wheel drive to keep you and yours safe. So you bring the action, Toyota is going to bring the traction. Toyota, let's go places. Great time to sign up to be a CHGO diehard right now. It comes with everything you need. Most importantly, that diehard card, which is instant credibility, no matter where you're at, okay?
Absolutely.
Become a CHGO diehard. Upgrade your fandom today. Access to our exclusive written content. You get a free t-shirt, plus discounts on future merch and events, and access to our CHGO Discord lounge, which continues after the show, where we talk Chicago sports and much more. Go to allchgo.com for the latest information on how you can join thousands of CHGO sickos and diehards in our community. We can't wait to connect with you on an even greater level. Cubs win 7-0. Back in the win column. We're vibing on the new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah, almost got 200 people in here. Let's go.
Yeah, on the new channel
Hit
already.
that like button.
Hit the like button for us. Hit a like for a 7-0 shutout win. 7 shutout innings for Justin Steele. And I'm going to guess that maybe Steele is the guy that's going to get the dedication to tonight's Beer Bat Chug, which, by the way, 10.25 is the number we're looking for a quality Beer Bat Chug. Cody is 3 for 4 this season.
Yeah, this is definitely going to Justin Steele. He gets dedication tonight. I said after the last handful of starts each time that I wasn't worried. I said the long ball is the only thing about him that I'm worried about or that he needs to fix. No long balls tonight, 7 innings, no earned, 3 hits. You can credit the weather all you want. You still got to go out there and execute pitches. I think that's what he did. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the next start, see if he can start a nice little stretch here. And if the Cubs are going to make the playoffs, they're going to need this form of Justin Steele on a more regular basis.
Amen to that. The bids are coming in already, the predictions. Gary's calling 10.25 on the dot. Craig Brindle's going 9.69. John Bone says 9.6. Tyler calling 9.93. Again, it starts, the clock starts when the Sam Adams American Light hits his lips.
All right.
Here's Cody Delmendo with tonight's Beer Bat Chug. And we are underway. The Sam Adams American Light is going down smooth. It's clean. It's crisp. It is oh so American. Delmendo flying through this one. Cold weather, be damned. And he's done. I've got him at 10-1-2. And you have him at 11-2.
Yeah.
11-20.
Sure. The world may never know.
Listen, I thought it was a quality chug.
I believe you.
I maybe
yeah.
stopped it earlier than you did. Maybe he hadn't swallowed the last bit, but it was out of the bat.
That is true. I wait until I see zero liquid in the bat, and then I
we'll let the chat decide if this is a quality Beer Bat chug.
I let our pal who runs the Cody Beer Bats Twitter account dictate. All right.
Matt White says 10-1. Eva Wax says 10-1. What were your times? Did you do one at home with? If you did, go ahead and record it next time and add us on social media.
Yeah, we'll reach
Emma's our VP of social media, and she's just dying for videos of people doing safe beer bat chugs at home with their Sam Adams American Light. Please,
Absolutely.
beer bat chug responsibly. Please.
Ooh, that felt nice. Let's go.
Oh, Evil Wax nailed it, even if it was 10.12. That's still a quality chug.
Yeah.
Evil Wax, still a quality chug. Good for you. So Justin Steele was, if we had to do a 3 stars like hockey, Justin Steele was your number 1 star. But give some credit to the Cubs offense. Give some credit to the Cubs offense because they kept tacking on. Matthew Gregory did a 9.99. Or is that his late prediction? I don't know which.
You might just be a little late.
He might just be a little bit behind.
Corey says John Berti speed though for me tonight. So 2 stolen bases.
John Berti, underrated, huh? How about that? Gets plunked, steals second, steals third, and scores a run and does a somersault.
Yeah.
It was the John Berti 2.0 game.
He had
not as good as in Japan, but it was still pretty.
I mean, I would say it's better than Japan considering they won the game.
They did win the game.
And he did legitimately score a run all, thanks to himself. Gets hit by a pitch, steals second, steals third, and then whoever maybe it was Hap, put it in play. Yeah. And his great base running, because they were playing in.
Yeah, Hap had 3 RBI tonight.
He got in and on a great slide. So, John Berti came in, he got the opportunity to start tonight and bang, he took advantage of it. So, John Berti's a great bench player. Like
I can't go there yet, but right now he's been a nice bench player for sure.
Sure.
And
maybe that's what I should say.
I joked in the watch along. I said, this looks like one of those nights where Craig Counsell was like, is there anybody volunteering to play tonight?
Yeah.
And Berti and Workman were like, yes, I'll play. It didn't work out well for Tater, but he'll still have his moments this season. And Berti, he got some playing time and he took advantage of it. Had a nice he manufactured a run basically almost on his own. The Cubs stole 5 bases.
Yeah.
They were like, listen, we can run on them. And we know we need to manufacture runs because it's cold out. They had no home runs and they scored 7 runs. That's not easy to do in Major League Baseball, especially if you're not piling up like 14 hits, right? Which they didn't. But they had 3 more walks. I've probably overdone the amount of excitement I have over how many walks they've been getting, like 7, 8, 7, 8, 8, 8, and constant walks. Today only 3. But they turned those 3 walks with 5 stolen bases into something much bigger than a walk. And then you had 2 guys hit by pitch as well. So they did the little things, and they got some hits with 2 outs.
Yeah, I was just say, Michael Busch had that triple?
Well, I got nervous about the offense. Early on, Dansby had bases loaded.
Yeah.
2 outs, ground out. Later, he had another man in scoring position, 2 outs, couldn't do it, but other guys picked him up tonight.
Yeah.
It wasn't Dansby's night.
Busch had a double early in the game. I think he came around to score. And then he might have scored the first run of the game. And then he had a triple later in the game to score that drove in a run. And then Hap, 2 RBIs in the big inning that the Cubs had as well. So with 2 outs. Hap's hit was big because they had those PCA and the guy ahead of him. Maybe it was Swanson. I don't know. You had 2 guys on second and third, and you had Berti and Workman coming up. Berti strikes out, Workman strikes out. Yeah. So it's almost like you almost gave away. You almost failed to score in that inning, but Hap comes through with 2 outs, gets the hit, literally hit it where they weren't set up at all. And then Tucker follows up with an RBI single. Seiya, nice little bloop single. Like some of the bloop hits for sure fell for the Cubs tonight. And on a night like tonight, on offense, like just putting the ball in play is huge. So, whether you want to call them lucky hits or not, when you put the ball in play, things can happen. And that's what happened for the Cubs tonight. And I thought that, they came through in big moments with some hard hits, and they had some ones that dropped in kind of lucky as well. So, all around good night for the offense. Like you mentioned, stealing bags, working some walks. Eovaldi, you look at the box score, probably a decent line, but I felt like they made him work, and he had to deal with being out in the cold and everything. And, then they went to the bullpen, and that's when it really imploded for them. So speaking of the bullpen, kind of comes back to like what I was talking about yesterday with, bullpen struggles across the league. Yeah. Now, this one guy pitched for the Rangers tonight. I don't know anything about him, but I couldn't believe he stayed in the game because he gave up all those runs, and then he's fine towards the end. But that 7-0 by then, like, doesn't really matter. But I don't know. It's just this was one of those fun, low stress. You can be optimistic about all these little things about the Cubs because the offense did it. Justin Steele did it. You didn't. You saved the bullpen. Like it's a nice win where in the offseason I talked about these are the type of wins they need to compile.
Right.
You're going to have some one-run games like yesterday, no doubt. And you're going to have to win some of those one-run games at some point, right? But if you compile a bunch of these 7-0 wins and 18-3 wins against the A's and 10 or 12-2 games and the 3-1 games against San Diego on Friday and the 7-1 games on Saturday,
right.
You compile more of those and you're not putting all this pressure on your bullpen and your offense is producing like this. That's a formula of a really good baseball team. And whether the bullpen is good or not, like you're not forcing them to be perfect every single day. And that's what you were doing last year. So
yeah, and you're one step closer to another series win, which is what you got to do. Keep winning series. Now, Ivy Fortner in the live YouTube chat here on the CHGO Cubs YouTube channel, starting to feel a little bit of the Kool-Aid effects.
Is she?
The Cubby Kool-Aid. Ivy says, not trying to be dramatic, but it's feeling like the old days. Ivy, you get a dose of the reality spray. That's a little too much, a little too far right now, a little too far. A little dose of reality. Let's remember. Oh, boy, the W flag really got wet on that one.
Yeah, that's signed by Ben Zopris, Luke.
Oh. Ivy, don't go too far. Don't get too excited. We're just a handful of games into the season.
Oh, let her dream.
Still cold, but I'm not going to tell you how to cub. If that's how you want to cub, you go ahead and cub. But you also have to be aware that if you say something like Berti is an awesome bench player, you might get a squirt of water from the reality spray early on in the season. Can't go that far. Everybody settle down.
She says, I'm sorry.
It's all right, Ivy. We'll send you a towel in the mail.
Steve on Twitch says Cardinals also lost. What a day. I mean, we're vibing tonight, baby.
Yeah, everything went nice.
Everything is night and day compared to yesterday when you compare today to yesterday.
And Dr. Professor's right, too. Seeing less of the bullpen, always good.
Exactly. I mean, not theoretically, but if you go back to 2016, the Cubs bullpen wasn't great. They needed a closer. They went and traded for Chapman. It was Rondon, it was Strope, and then I'm probably missing like one or two other names as like, they picked up Montgomery in the deadline, right? And the point is they had great starting pitching and they had an offense that led baseball in run differential by a large mark. So, the game has changed a lot since 2016, and I'm not sitting here saying this team is a World Series contender, but I am saying that if you blow teams out or you win, you're scoring 5 to 7 runs per game, you're putting yourself in a good position to have success. That's all I'm saying, especially if you're getting the starting pitching that you're getting so far. They will need this bullpen to find some form of continuity and some form of consistency. They will absolutely need it because you can't – they already have 2 games that they should have won, right? So I'm not trying to say that none of it matters, but what I am saying is that when you have games like this, the more of those that you compile, the easier it is to not only handle some of those brutal losses, but also, you're not putting as much pressure on certain guys.
Don't put yourself in that position. Ivy says she cubs like Cody, and Evil Wax is looking for a spray himself. I don't want to do it. because Evil Wax is always here, but if this team has this level of confidence, played the Dodgers in Tokyo, I think they'd have beat them. That's pretty close to a spray, Evil Wax. Pretty close to a spray, but I'm going to let it slide today. We're going to talk about the big contract for Vlad Guerrero Jr., what it means maybe for Kyle Tucker in just a second. But first, a word from our sponsors. Just like your favorite teams need a home court advantage, your home needs a home floor advantage, and Empire Today can help you get it. Empire Today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. You can go to the big box store. Go ahead if you want. But you might be talking to somebody trying to sell you flooring who was working in plumbing yesterday and selling sod the day before that. If that's what you want, go ahead. Empire Today lives and breathes flooring. They help you every step of the way. Experts that bring the showroom right to your home. Get precise measurements taken and have all your questions answered so there are no surprises. With Empire Today, you get clear, upfront, and all-inclusive pricing. Plus, you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. Nobody likes to wait. So schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. CHGO listeners can receive a $350 discount using the promo code CHGO. You heard me right. That wasn't $3.50. That wasn't $35. A $350 discount just by using the code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday.com/CHGO for full details.
Whatever the sport, the app to bet on is Circa Sports Illinois. Circa Sports, it's sports betting the way it should be. Circa Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. Bet on all your favorite teams in every game this season. Spreads, props, futures, or in-game. Circa Sports has it. Fun to bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. We had the NCAA tournament tonight.
Yeah, I think it's still going on. I've seen some updated scores in there. Very low
very
scoring.
low. I did take the under 141 in the national title game, but I did bet Florida money line, so that's not looking good for me right now. I had Kyle Tucker over 1.5 total bases. He just missed a homer, but he did have 2 hits tonight.
Yep.
Gage Tater Workman, man. My gut told me that he was going to get a hit tonight, and instead he struck out 3 times. But he did walk. I did not bet that, though. So you win some, you lose some. But at Circa Sports, you go through the roller coaster of it all, and at least when you're having fun doing it. So download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Cubs win 7-0. You see what's happening on the CHGO Cubs YouTube channel tonight. The NCAA game, so low scoring that people are just flipping over to chat. I see the chat going from like 150, 200, 204. Boom, boom, boom. They're all leaving the game. They're all bored out of their minds. And why not? Let's talk baseball. Cubs win 7-0. Go ahead and vibe with us. Justin Steele, star number 1. Offense, star number 2. And then, I don't know if I want to call it star number 3. But storyline number 3 today is certainly Vlad Guerrero Jr. signing a 14-year, $500 million extension with the Blue Jays. Why? Because we put it out into the universe 2 years ago. We said, hey, keep an eye on this guy. Mm-hmm. You might be able to get Vlad Guerrero Jr. out of Toronto. We dreamed and we hoped, and then we thought he might be available. But we finally settled on the fact that when we saw Michael Busch put together a nice rookie season, I think we're okay. I'd rather spend my $500 million on Kyle Tucker if I can get it done. Mm-hmm. I don't know that the Cubs are going to do it, but how does the Guerrero contract impact Kyle Tucker's future contract? Does it set the bar? Does Tucker deserve more than Guerrero? I saw John Heyman today on Twitter say he thinks Tucker will get more.
John Heyman said that?
John Heyman said he thinks Tucker's going to get more
than
Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Maybe an AAV, I guess. But
a better defender for one.
Well, AAV.
Yeah, AAV maybe.
What, Vlad?
He's not getting, 14, I don't think he's getting 14 years.
Vlad, 14 years, $500 million. That's what, $35 million annual average value? I'm not a math guy, but I think that's it. Someone can tell me if I'm right or wrong on that.
Gary Ross, one of our regulars in the chat, says Tucker's getting 11 for 500 easily now.
Yeah. So
let's see how the season.
Go ahead.
Let's see how the season goes.
Yeah.
Right.
So on the watch along, I teased a hot take about the Vlad stuff.
Yeah, what was your hot take?
My hot take about Vlad getting 14 years, $500 million is that I think that has a chance to look like Albert Pujols.
Ooh.
A combination of Albert Pujols and Mike Trout. Like, maybe the next 5 years will be good. But the thing is the Blue Jays are in a really bad spot organizationally. Like, I just don't think they're good. So they might get some really good years of his prime, but will they even be contenders for anything? But then, like, in the back, like, once he gets deep, like, you know, maybe it's more than 5 years. Maybe you get seven more really good years out of him. But then that back in the last 7, it's a lot like Albert Pujols or Miguel Cabrera.
But you wouldn't have been out on it. If Kyle Tucker, if they hadn't traded for Kyle Tucker and he weren't on the Cubs, we probably still would be talking about Vlad Guerrero more than we would Kyle Tucker coming up in free agency. And you would have been happy. We both would have been happy to spend Ricketts' money on that deal. I think he's a great player.
Right. No,
but there's a different opportunity on the table.
Yeah. Well, what I just said doesn't mean that I wouldn't have signed him.
Right.
Right. Like,
no, I'm just clarifying.
I would have absolutely signed him if he had hit free agency this offseason. If he was available, yeah, I would have absolutely supported the Cubs talking to him. But the reason that I feel the way that I do, 14 years, $500 million for a guy who, if he doesn't hit, he's kind of like not that valuable of a player. He's never been known for defense, right? And let's just be honest. If you go look at his Fangraphs or Baseball Reference page, you have 2021 and then last season as like his 2 best seasons. And there's in between that, there's some seasons where it's like he was fine, but was he worth $35 million a year? Like, I don't personally care because it's not my money, and I'm sure Blue Jays fans don't care because it's not their money.
And he's their guy.
He is their guy, and do I think he potentially could go down as one of the best Blue Jays, if not the best of all time? Absolutely. But you're also signing this guy, and your organization, as in the Blue Jays, is just until proven otherwise. I don't think they're making the playoffs this year. And they have one of the worst farms in baseball. That, you know, George Springer's making $20-some million a year in the back end of that contract. Like, it's not like they're ready to just go on a run for the next 5+ years. So that's why I'm calling it a mixture of Mike Trout and Albert Pujols, because Mike Trout's best years, the Angels were still trash. Right. And then when the Angels sign Albert Pujols, he just never lived up to that huge deal that he got because first baseman, got older, not great defensively at that point in his career. Like, I think he will give them value, but will he give them value when they need it or when they feel like they're a real contender? They have a lot of work to do. The Blue Jays have a lot of work to do to find a way, or not to find a way, but to, I guess, justify giving all this money to a guy to justify doing it. He is their guy, and people are still going to show up, and he's a fan favorite. I like him. I would have paid him if it was the Cubs. I still would have paid him the same deal. But the Cubs are also in a complete different scenario than the Blue Jays organizationally. So I just think that Vlad, I don't personally know why he wanted to re-sign there other than the fact that he's Canadian and he likes Toronto, and maybe they've sold him on how they're going to get this thing turned around. Who knows? Maybe I'm completely wrong and they're a way better team this year. I just don't see it, but I just see a combination of he will give his best years when they're not good, and by the time they're good again, he might not be the guy.
And I know it's early, and we haven't even played 15 games. But if Kyle Tucker was asking for 11 years, I'd give him 11 years.
Yeah. No,
right? Blue Jay fans did get exactly what Cubs fans want. Their owner said, we can't let this guy get away. You love him too much. He's too important to our team. He can't leave. And that's what Cubs fans want to hear ownership say to them, we realize that you've fallen in love with Kyle Tucker in less than 20 games. And I know it's not going to happen now, but it could happen throughout the course of the season. Could a season good enough from Tucker put enough pressure on ownership that they know they can't let him get away?
Yeah.
That's got to be your hope, even though it will take a season that will push that price up even more.
That's the only thing I'm going to push back on you about what you just said. I don't want Tom Ricketts to re-sign Kyle or give him an extension to Kyle Tucker because Cubs fans love him. I want Tom Ricketts to give Kyle Tucker an extension because the Cubs would be set up for sustained success for the next decade because that guy would be the cornerstone of your franchise. He's shown it in 13 games. And that's my thing about the Vlad Jr. extension. Okay, you signed him, but are you going to do anything to make your team a legitimate contender? They got a lot to do to show me, and I think a lot of baseball fans out there, that they're a team that people should be taking serious.
Let me push back on what you said for a second. I don't care what the reason is that if the Ricketts come up with some reason that they say this is why we signed Kyle Tucker, I won't care what it is. I won't care if it was pressure of Cubs fans. I won't care if it was they finally realized we need to do this to make ourselves serious contenders and sustain success. I don't care what it is. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. It's the sign you held up in the bleachers.
Yes.
Extend Kyle Tucker.
Yes. I think we both generally agree with each other. But from what I'm saying, though, is I want the Cubs to act. I want them to re-sign or extend Kyle Tucker because they are in a position where it's win now, and then you're also still set up down the road too because you still have a top 10 farm system in baseball.
Yeah.
The Blue Jays are not set up like that. So that's why I feel the way I do about the Blue Jays and that contract extension they gave to Vlad Jr. I have no doubt that he's going to be good for them. Like, he's going to continue to be a really, really good baseball player, and he'll be one of the best hitters in the league, no doubt. But if they're not good and you paid him all that money, what are you getting out of this? You know what I mean? So that's the difference between Vlad Jr. signing that contract extension with the Blue Jays, and if the Cubs were to theoretically give the contract extension to Kyle Tucker. The way the Cubs are set up, when you talk about all the things going on organizationally and what they have on their roster right now, it's like, and considering the division that they're in, that's like there for the taking every year. Meanwhile, the Blue Jays are playing against the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Orioles, the Rays, I guess, Central. Too, right? Like not the NL Central. Like it, I think the optics, there's different ways to look at it. But at the end of the day, is it good for their fans and good for their organization that they invested into their guy that they homegrown, brought up, and all that? Yes, all of that. But everything I'm saying is kind of beside that point, though. And so I'm not saying that the better move would have been for them to just trade him at the deadline and get prospects back and kind of do a full kind of rebuild or a retool of sorts. But I am saying that if this is all they do and then don't do anything to really complement that, then you're literally doing what the Angels have done with Mike Trout his entire career. So
what Wrigley Man 1 says in our live YouTube chat, this is a completely different offense with Tucker in it. Listen, that will play out this season. We hope it is. It sure does look like it. You know, tonight the bottom of the order wasn't there, but Tucker, Suzuki, Busch, and Amaya 2 hits each.
Yeah,
and not home runs. They're just finding ways to get the bat on the ball and take professional at bats.
And Tucker almost had a home run.
And he almost did. And somebody in the chat just earlier, Jay Grizz right there. Yep, every franchise needs that cornerstone player for years to come, just like the Phillies have Harper, Orioles have Gunnar Henderson, Yankees have Judge, Braves have Acuna, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Right. And you can hope and wish and pray that Alcantara or PCA or somebody else will develop into that player. But why not take the guarantee of Kyle Tucker and then still hope that one of those other guys can be Pippen next to Jordan?
Yeah.
That's what you want in your lineup.
Mm-hmm.
If you just want to roll out a franchise and hope that one of your prospects becomes it, that's not the way to do it. Take the guarantee and then match it with the young prospects that are going to be making way less money and make it affordable to pay the one guy that could be great for the next 10, 11 years.
Absolutely.
All right, another quick break. Then we're going to talk about coming up tomorrow's game. First, we got to tell you about more of our great sponsors here. Right On Optics. No matter what the outdoor activity is that you prefer, it's always important to have the best view. Right On Optics offers a full range of optics products so you can see clearly. Everybody can use a good pair of binoculars. Better view at your kid's sporting event. Maybe you want to check out your neighbor's grass to see if it's greener than yours. Go ahead and use your Right On Optics. Spotting birds, other wildlife. Bring them to the stadium if you're stuck in the cheap seats. Right On offers higher performance at a lower price. The perfect balance of performance and value. They won't break the bank. Right On's been around for over a decade. Every product receives a full quality control inspection. The Right On Promise unlimited lifetime warranty not only covers defects, but also accidental damage from drops. Very important if you have kids or slippery fingers like I do. Check out the full line of Right On products today at rightonoptics.com/CHGO. That's RITON optics.com/CHGO.
Game Time makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. I tell you all this all the time with killer last minute deals, all in prices, views from your seat, and your lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Like I said, I say this story all the time. I get on the red line at Argyle, ride 3 stops, get off at Addison, open up Game Time right before first pitch. You can get the best value. Now, depending on the team that's playing, sometimes they might still look a little pricey. But tonight you could have gone to Wrigley for less than $5. Did the weather play a factor in that? Probably. But
for $5, you can leave as soon as it gets to 7-0.
You can, yes. You absolutely can. And what's better than going to Wrigley for less than $10?
$5, it's almost worth going in to sing the 7th inning stretch and leave.
Yeah, there you go. Right? So that's the thing, is that you're going to get the best value on tickets right before first pitch or tip-off or kickoff or, whatever event that you're at, right? All right, they have, like I said, last-minute deals. You save up to 60% off buying last minute through any of those types of events. They have zone deals. You save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose those seats. They have all-in pricing. Toggling that feature shows the total upfront with no surprise fees at checkouts. No one hates a bait and switch more than me and Luke Stuckmeyer. Okay, so you have that. They have the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry as well. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem with code CHGO for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Game Time.
Get your ticket for the next Friday 120 game. You can. I think I'm going to tell Braggs to make just a sign that says "please." So we'll bring the extend Kyle Tucker sign
and then
back.
The next one is please.
Please
then
extend
each Friday 120 an extra please.
Perhaps.
And you just pass them down the bleachers. So everybody's got to please.
Yes.
And then another one that says no seriously.
No seriously. Yes. If this is the form. If this is what fans have to do to bully the Cubs into re-signing Kyle Tucker, this is what we have to do. I'm even willing to go sit in right field for a few innings. I don't know about an entire game.
How many standing ovations are you willing to stand up for at a game? And I said this last time. I was like, give the guy a standing ovation almost every game.
Yeah.
Make him fall in love with the ballpark and make ownership go, wow, look at what he's doing. He's got them on their feet, and when they're on their feet, then they think I better go buy another beer.
I know.
Every time, his first at bat of every game should be a standing ovation.
Yeah.
When you stand up, you go to buy food and beer. That's the next step in that process. By the way, I know people get mad at ownership and the Cubs when they're losing, but tonight's not necessarily needs to be that night. It is 7-0, a 7-0 win. But did you see what the Pirates did? And I know the Cubs have made mistakes. They threw away Ron Santos' stuff in a dumpster. Was a bad move. They've made other blunders that have been bad moves. But Roberto Clemente is the Pirates.
Yeah.
Greatest player to ever put on a Pirates uniform. Dies tragically, doing humanitarian things. A terrific player, a Hall of Famer. And they have his number retired on the outfield wall, but they got an advertisement. And before they moved his number, they apparently covered it up with an ad.
They covered it up?
They replaced it with an ad.
I thought they moved it.
Before they moved it, it was just the ad was there and the number was missing, from what I understand.
Oh, okay.
That's why they're taking heat. Then they moved it. But right away, they should just do what the Cubs did. Put his number up on the foul pole.
Yeah.
Do something. Move it first, and then go ahead. And I would never go into a season without Roberto Clemente's number on a wall.
Yeah.
Not in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
What else are you celebrating?
Paul Skeens every fifth
Paul
day.
Skeens and his girlfriend, or whatever's going on.
Yeah. No, it's
wow.
The Pirates.
That's a bad move by somebody.
Remember last season when they DFA'd Rowdy Tellez, right before he would have.
I thought you were going to say Roddy Piper. Are we talking
for some reason I was thinking about saying that. But they DFA'd him or waived him, whatever it was. Right before he was gonna in his contract, he was gonna hit a bonus or something for hitting a certain amount of at bats.
Yes, and Tyler said it was a surface alcohol ad that replaced Roberto Clemente's retired number.
That's crazy, man. So the Pirates just continue from a PR perspective to just kind of shoot themselves in the foot. I'll say this about the Cubs and ownership, man. I can sit here and complain about Tom and breaking even, and I can complain about Crane Kinney going on marquee and bragging about selling more of the legendary blue unis in the first week than they did with the Wrigleyville ones, and all that. I can complain a lot about that. You give me another Sam Adams light beer and
chug another one.
You give me another one of those and a bar stool to sit at. I can do it. Believe me, I can do it. But the one thing I will say about the Cubs ownership group is that they've always done right by their Hall of Fame players and their former players outside of the whole Sammy Sosa thing. They've always done right by those guys, and the players even talk about that as well. So, and with the statue row and the names on the flagpoles and stuff like that, it's a good thing that fans can look at, and you can tell that the organization truly cares about those people.
In Pittsburgh, the ballpark's nice. They have beautiful statues of all their great players outside the ballpark. They do a nice job with that, too. Somebody made a bad mistake.
Yeah, somebody
made a bad mistake.
Yeah, and that's one of those, though, that, if someone made that mistake, where's, the guy who's, editing? Maybe, check your work.
Doesn't it have to be right? Isn't there somebody double-checking what they do?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
We have to run a beer bat chug by 7 people here before we do one. No, we don't.
No, I just decided to do it one day, and people liked it, and they were like, keep doing it, Cody. I'm like, okay. It's the funny things I think of whenever I'm, riding my bike down the street. Anyway.
Cubs win 7-0. Tomorrow, I looked up, the temperature is supposed to be 40 degrees at 7 o'clock. Now, that doesn't sound as bad, but remember, at 7 o'clock, the sun is still up.
Yeah.
Once that sun sets, I'm going to guess it's going to be just like it was tonight, 32 and windy. Which, what did Emma tell us? The wind chill was 22 degrees at the
22.
Ballpark?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Jameson Tyone against Patrick Corbin tomorrow. When we did the preview with our friend at DLLS from All City, mentioned, Corbin's had, that's been tough.
Yeah.
Hasn't been great. Do the same thing that you've been doing offensively the last couple weeks. Patient approach. If he can't find the strike zone, you let him throw until he puts him over the plate. Don't bail him out. And then if they're doing the same, I'd run him to death on the bases again.
Yeah. What's weird?
I doubt you're going to hit a bunch of home runs tomorrow.
Yeah. What's weird is that the last few times the Cubs have faced Patrick Corbin, these last 2 years, he's somehow, some way, for whatever reason, had a good start against the Cubs. So I feel a little PTSD being triggered potentially tomorrow. But those teams didn't have Kyle Tucker in the lineup and the way this Cubs offense has been playing. So I feel good about tomorrow. And, you know, Nico and Shaw will be back in the lineup, especially going up against a lefty. Cubs have hit well against lefties so far this year. So, you know, Hart, who's a lefty, pitched on Sunday, didn't even make it out of the first inning. You know, like, they've been having a lot of good at-bats against lefties. I know he's not necessarily the best example considering his story, but yeah, Corbin, the Cubs should
they should lock up a series win tomorrow.
They should lock up a series win tomorrow. And to me, it'll make it easier to go into Wednesday and deal with whatever happens on Wednesday. But you got the Dodgers this weekend. You need to win this series. You got to go to LA. And we know how good this Dodgers team is. I think you got to at least win this series. You win tomorrow, you're what? 9-5. So
yeah, I would like to see
8-5 right now.
I would like to see a start from Jameson Taillon similar to what Steele did tonight. Yeah. I'm not calling for 7 shutout innings. I'm just saying, don't be overly picky. Go after the hitters.
Yeah.
Make them hit the ball. Mm. You got Gold Glove defense out there behind you.
Yeah.
And on the base paths, keep doing what you're doing. Like, that's a path for the Cubs. It's small ball, and that's not the way you really win championships anymore in baseball. Small ball, it's with home runs. But right now, when it's freezing and the wind's blowing in and Craig and Jed are telling you it's the hardest ballpark to score runs in, then take advantage of your athletic ability and some of your youth around there. Hap can still run in left field. PCA is blistering. He could steal second and third like it's not happening. Tucker runs the base as well, right? Like, they've got guys that can steal bases. I assume Nico's going to play again tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't expect him to steal second and third like Berti did, but I could expect a stolen base if he gets on. So they have guys. Shaw's runs really well.
Yeah. Yeah, and they got speed. They got
the power. They got the speed.
Certainly. They certainly got the speed. I think the power is there. Listen, the tough schedule thing, like, the Cubs have to take advantage of the weather factor at Wrigley. So
yeah, you have to turn it into an advantage, not something you're talking about after the season saying, well,
yeah,
we had bad weather in the spring.
Right.
Say we had bad weather in spring and we dominated because of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. After winning the first one, now I'm already greedy, thinking they should have had the sweep against the Padres. Don't make the same mistake against the Rangers. And I know it takes 2 more wins.
Yeah.
Or maybe just one and a possible rain out on Wednesday. I don't know where that's going. Man, I tell you, I appreciate everyone that has. When I was younger, I was willing to go sit in any temperature.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys go to the Friday ones when you just bundle up. But there gets to be a certain point where you go, maybe I'll wait to Memorial Day.
Well,
and tonight was one of those nights where I watched people. I think that was John Cusack.
Yeah.
Behind home plate. And he was like the players. You could almost see his face from under the hood.
I'll say this, that Friday 120s, they're day games, which helps.
Makes a difference.
Today wasn't that bad during the day because the sun was out.
Well, although it was snowing at my house in the afternoon multiple times.
Really?
Yeah.
Here
there were flurries at my house 3 different times today.
It flurried this morning here in Chicago, but at least on the north side. But in the afternoon, it was sunny all afternoon. So I went into tonight thinking, it'll probably be cold just because it's nighttime. But yeah, so I don't know. We haven't necessarily had a major Friday day game that's looked like what this week could look like. So maybe we're just good at dodging it right now.
Ivy and Gary going back and forth about. Ivy said, we haven't lost the series opener, have we? And Gary's like, well, we did in Japan. But again, Gary, most of us don't consider those games actual games played.
Yeah. Yeah, she says not counting those.
No. And we're getting the play-by-play on the national championship. No need to go turn that on your television because right here on the YouTube channel, even though it's all CHGO Cubs, we can throw in a score. Florida up by 1.
Well, my bet's back then. Let's go.
Back up by 1.
Haven't mentioned this on the show yet. These sweatpants are 2-0, and we're 2-0 on the watch-alongs.
Now, is this a deal where you haven't washed them since the last win?
No, I've washed them. But I've decided...
Will you wash them now that they're 2-0?
Yeah.
I feel like you shouldn't wash them.
But I washed them after the first one.
Oh, well, then you need to wash them.
But I've been wearing the sweatpants for watch-alongs because they're night games, and I just feel like it makes more sense.
Yeah.
To be comfy if I have to sit in this chair for 4 hours. Well, I guess tonight's 3 hours.
We talked about Japan. We were going to show up in like old school pajamas and robes.
Speaking of robes in Japan, did you see what's her name? Sam. I can't say her last name. Sam Bernero, I think. The older lady who always stands outside Wrigley.
Oh, yeah.
Who takes the pictures. Mm-hmm. I think Shota brought her one of those Tokyo series like
the kimonos?
Yeah, that like Justin Turner wore or whatever. Really? Like Shota brought her one.
Man, does Shota get it.
Yeah. He showed up again in an Illinois sweatshirt. I was like,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I saw PCA said he might be the most polite, thoughtful person he's ever met. Shota.
Imanaga.
Wow. Yes, please don't forget to subscribe to the new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel. And once you're there, go ahead and check out all the content. Right?
Yes.
The shorts taking off. Everybody loves the shorts and the VODs and the mini pods.
People who like shorts are people who like
hot weather. But bumps. You didn't get that dad joke? People that like shorts are people who like hot weather.
Yeah.
Come on, Sarah. It's not that late.
No, that went over my head.
4 people just turned off to watch the national championship with that joke.
It's just good for those people with the attention span of like 3 seconds. So
Sydney ends it with stainless steel today.
Oh, I like that.
We'll be back tomorrow after the game for a full-hour post-game show right here on the CHGO Cubs YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. We're like 200 away from 2,000, and when we get there, the 4th shirt will be available in the merch. It's
if you stayed on the regular channel this entire time, please just come to the new channel. The link is in the description.
You can do it.
The link to the new channel is in the description. Please come. Thank you. God bless. Buy these shirts.
And fly the W.
And fly W.
We all silly like the mayor.